Hi, it's Tekina-eirú Maynard, the director of the Puerto Rican Cultural Center. And you know where I am? I'm in Boriquen, Puerto Rico. Yes, we got here last night, and it's just been such a wonderful thing to be home and to breathe the air from my beloved island once again. Well, sitting next to me is Orlando Laureano. He's a dear, dear friend, teacher, and mentor. And we've been talking for many hours over some fabulous coffee. But before I wanted to ask you a few questions. But first, why don't you tell the people a little bit more about who you are? Because I have a lot of friends on Facebook who you are new for them. So tell us something about you, Orlando.
I don't like to talk about myself, but I'm a guitar player, classical guitar player.
He's an amazing master guitar player.
I also play the cuatro, Puerto Rican cuatro, and the tiple, which is an ancient instrument of Puerto Rico from the 1900s, and we have a modern version of it, and I play the three of them. I love them very much. I don't love one better than others, like three songs. And I also teach in the Conservatory of Music. I teach cuatro, and I teach guitar. And also a member of the Lutheran Church in America, in Bayamon. And of course, I am a member of the Guatumacu Boriquen Concilio. I was baptized a Taino also in Texas. Incredible, but it was that way. And we met a lot of great people. And I also do a lot of things, especially in workshop and folkloric research about our music, our campesino music. And I also do music, classical music, and different kind of music.
Okay, and so I will translate that. He is a master director, sought after musician. He plays every stringed instrument that Puerto Rico has with a level of mastery that will just make your heart burst if you saw him play. So that's just one sentence of what an amazing man that he is. So tell me, Orlando, we were talking for the last few hours about Puerto Rico, and it's really hard to capture everything that has happened because of and since Hurricane Maria hit our island on September 20th, 2017. But can you talk a little bit about some of the memories that will never ever leave you from that experience? And I'm gonna actually let you hold the mic.
Okay. First of all, were two hurricanes. First was Irma, that it wasn't so strong in the whole island, but it took the east of the island and struck it very strong. And of course, we did have Maria, which divided across to the middle of Puerto Rico and cracked it in two. It was a very strong hurricane. Well, the worst that we have done in the history of Puerto Rico. That's it. The experience that struck me most, of course, the devastation, destruction. I have the opportunity to go as a FEMA interpreter through the towns of Mayagüez, Las Marías, Maricao, Sabana Grande, San Germán, Hormigueros, and Cabo Rojo. And first struck me most the destruction. It was like an atomic bomb. Everywhere I go, it was like a bomb was dropped there. At that strike, you seen your island, a green island, turn into a brown or gray island. Everything's gone, and that's give you the sense of crying and impotence. That's the first thing. The second is the power and the people. people were helping each other. People were with strong and resilience. And with the most important part, they were standing up, helping each other. And there were a lot of institutions, municipalities, government, federal, working. But the one that really struck me most, it was the volunteers that gather up young, middle, and old people to help the other people who were not lucky as they were. So that was the thing that I can tell you, that a part of the destruction, it was the people who gathered. It was you saw it everywhere. Volunteers here and there, giving what they don't have to the other people who have less than they have. That, I think, that was one of the things that struck me most, and in a positive way, is the volunteer. That was something big.
That's beautiful. So when you did worked for FEMA, and you went through a lot of the different mountain towns, can you think of maybe one experience in a mountain town that really was life-changing for you?
Yes, when we were in the emergency office of Las Marias, that was our first big day. We were attending a lot of people that came from the different barrios to the term in English is wards. They came to the emergency to fill the applications of FEMA. I have the experience of interacting firsthand with the victims of the hurricane, victims who have lost everything, victims who have can't be in contact with their loved ones about a month and a half. That was very depressing. And I have about 5 days that I couldn't speak with my daughter, and I was desperate. So you can imagine people who have a month and a half without knowing, because there were no communication, no power in Las Marias. And there were two major two hurricanes that struck our island. And that gave me the sense of impotence, but at the same time gave me the sense of to be grateful of what you have. Be grateful to what you have in your side, as your neighbor, as your family, and be grateful to be alive, because a lot of people couldn't make it. They were buried in the backyard because they have no access to ambulance, to nothing. So they have their loved one dead over there, and gave you to also the sense of having something. People were, of course, with the big reason that they doesn't have power, but at least some of them have a ceiling to go back and to spend the night, because a lot of people, they didn't have a ceiling. They were moving into the base of the house. They were in the lower of the and they were living there, and it was very depressing, but also tells you about the people of the resilience. Really, the big lessons that I learned over there is love the people you have with you. Tell them that you love them, because in a day or two, and in just a second or a minute, life won't be the same. You will have the life again, or the loved one couldn't be the same, because